All right, guys, how's it going? Well, if you watched my morning briefing today, I said I expected to be busy right through today with a couple of meetings. Club meetings. I work for my local football club here, CF Benidorm, owned by DV7 Group, which is David Villa, of course. I'm sure you know who that is. And we had, I had a meeting this morning with the owner, the president, the club lawyer, general manager, just like a meeting, all right, a serious meeting. So I thought that was going to spill over into lunch, and then we've got a meeting with the fans group this afternoon. But fortunately, it finished a little bit earlier. So rather than go for lunch in town, I thought I would come home and make some videos for you, and then go back to my second meeting. Okay. I will be live on here this evening, though, but I'm not sure if I'll be home in time for a 6:30 UK start. All right, it might be 7:30 UK, but I will be live on here tonight. So please just keep an eye on the channel. I'll schedule it, but if I don't go live at 6:30, you might see the time adjust. All right, but I'll try and get back for 6:30, but I'm just not sure what time it will finish. I reckon it'll be a bit later, to be honest. One more thing. On my morning briefing today, I forgot to do my shout-outs for the super thanks. I do apologise. I will do them on tomorrow morning's briefing. Now, while I was waiting to go into the office this morning, I started to get some notifications on my phone of quotes from Arne Slot's press conference. Now, I didn't watch the press conference. I don't want to watch the press conference. I've watched one all season, and that was only because we were on a live stream and someone said, "Have you seen his press conference, Duncan?" I went, "No, let's watch it now together." That's the only time. So I don't want to watch it. Now, the reason I'm telling you I haven't seen it is because there's two different versions of quotes that I have seen. This quote, for example, came from Fabrizio Romano. Mo Salah! Some of you don't know why we do that around these parts. You'll have to ask in the comment section if you're not a regular or a long-term viewer. Basically, Rent-A-Tweet himself quoted Slot as saying, "I have every reason to believe I will be the Liverpool manager next season. The plans for next season have been made. Talks ongoing between the club and new players, and I am involved in that." However, later on today, when I was at home, I was just having a cup of tea and that, I saw some quotes from Paul Joyce, who said, about his future, "I don't think I'm deciding that alone by myself, but I have every reason to believe I am the Liverpool manager next season. First of all, I am contracted to this club, and second of all, from the talks we're having, that is my take on it." So a slightly different version. I don't know what the fuck's going on there, to be honest. But the key point here, which is in both sides, is I have every reason to believe I am the Liverpool manager next season. So I don't think we're going to dispute that he said that. So I want to look at my notes. I ran these by Dave, my AI assistant. I don't just throw things at random AI or something. People that have been around here a long time know that we've got Dave, he's my AI assistant, who's been trained to analyse football news articles, the journalists that write them, etc., for well over 18 months now, I think, and literally been trained with thousands and thousands of articles, and we have a wealth of information. We have everything. Joyce has said everything, Romano said everything, Ornstein has said, and he can refer to all of that, right? So I'm going to just look at some of the notes that Dave gave me when I ran this by him. But I don't need to run by Dave what I thought initially. So I have every reason to believe I'll definitely be here. I admit, it does sound like they're going to keep him, all right? And I don't know, guys. I'm not trying to put you in another direction and say, no, that quote's a load of shite, blah, 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 he's leaving, because I don't know. What I'm trying to do is just make you think a little bit. That's all, and just look at the other angle a little bit. So I have every reason to believe is not. I'll definitely be here, right? So let me just scroll through here. So Dave said, "A manager can genuinely believe he's staying because nobody has formally told him otherwise. He's still been included in planning. Recruitment discussions continue. And the club wants stability externally until a decision is finalised. Football clubs do this constantly. Internally, doubts exist. Externally, everything carries on as normal, right up until the moment it doesn't. One week it's planning for next season, the next it's we thank him for his services. The old vote of confidence routine didn't become a cliche by accident. So Dave then continues his conversation with me and says, your interpretation of Arne Slot probably comes from experience rather than paranoia. You've literally seen how a club can behave while already leaning toward a change. The interesting bit is that Slot didn't say, I've spoken to the owners and we've agreed, or the club has told me. He framed it around his own belief. That's materially different. Now, does that mean Liverpool are planning to sack him? Not necessarily. But I do think your point weakens the argument that his comments should automatically reassure everyone. People often assume involvement in transfer talks equals security. In reality, clubs often keep the machine moving until the very end because they can't afford operational paralysis. Football's brutal like that. A manager can be discussing next season's left-back targets while the hierarchy is quietly discussing his replacement over coffee and biscuits upstairs. I then threw the quotes at Dave from Joyce, the slightly different ones. And he says, that changes the tone quite a bit, actually. The key line is, I don't think I am deciding that alone by myself. That's a strange thing to volunteer unless the topic genuinely exists in the background. Most secure managers answer that type of question with, yes, of course, or we are planning for next season. Instead, Arne Slot immediately introduced the idea that the decision is not entirely his. That's revealing psychologically. Then he follows it with, I have every reason to believe. Again, belief, not certainty. And then, that is my take on it. That's another distancing phrase. He's effectively saying, this is how I currently understand the situation. Honestly, with the full quote, I understand your concern much more. It doesn't sound like a man who has had a crystal clear reassurance from the ownership. It sounds like someone inferring his position from ongoing conversations and normal operational behaviour. Now, that still doesn't mean Liverpool are planning to sack him, but I do think the wording reflects that he knows football decisions are above him and not fully under his control. The I'm contracted part is also interesting. Managers often mention contracts when they don't have stronger assurances available. It's almost a fallback argument. Well, I still have a contract. That's very different emotionally from the club and I are aligned on the future. And Dave waffles on about my experience and can see exactly why your radar went up reading that, basically his quotes. So I've thrown Dave in there for a bit of input because I know you like to see what Dave's got to say. But I'll be honest with you, when I saw that the original quotes just before I went into that meeting, I didn't see complete confidence there. I have every reason to believe is not I will be here next year. It's not, guys. It's not. And please, I will say this again. I'm not saying this to you to try and back up my, like some sort of ITK or I know what's going on. I know they're going to sack him. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that in the slightest. I genuinely have no idea what they will do. I have, what I think they might do, but you know what I mean? I don't fucking know, do I? And neither does anybody else. So all we can do is, if you don't really study it properly, you end up being brainwashed into believing something. And I can see why people would think that means he is going to be there. And maybe he will. I can't spell this out anymore. Maybe he will. I don't know. But I have every reason to believe he's not. I've spoken to the owners and we're all on the same page. Or I will be here next year. I have every reason to believe. Right? And the additional lines that were quoted by Paul Joyce, and I'm going to pay more attention to Paul Joyce, to be honest with you. I don't think I'm deciding that alone by myself, but I have every reason to believe I am the Liverpool manager next season. First of all, I'm contracted to this club, and second of all, from all the talks we're having, and then he says, that is my take on it. That's my take on it. What about the club's take on it? That is the situation. I'm sorry, guys, this is not a man talking with confidence to me. You might feel differently. I'm not trying to convince you to go in another direction because I don't know. But from my analysis and how I read that, and also Dave's given his input, what did he say there? Most secure managers answer that type of question with, yes, of course. Of course I'm going to be the manager next year. Why are you fucking insulting me kind of thing? He follows it with, I have every reason to believe. Well, that's belief, not certainty. And then that is my take on it. That's another distancing phrase. He's effectively saying, this is how I currently understand the situation. I read the Joyce article, and it does. If you actually read the journalist's opinion, it does read like they're behind him, and that's what they want to do, and there's reasons why the season's been shit. The reality is, guys, right? Or maybe I can't say reality. My opinion is that if we start the season with Arne Slot next season, it won't last till fucking Christmas. I can't see how it will. It reminds me of the Brendan Rodgers situation. So there's one more thing, one more key point here, all right? I believe I'll still be here, and that's how I see things, whatever he said, right? Where's his contract extension? Where is his contract extension? If that was nailed on, I'm sorry. I mean, look, it could come. It could be announced the minute the season concludes. Arne Slot extends contract. I just feel that he's not going to be here, but I don't know. I genuinely don't know. So I'm just reading what he says. And as Dave says, it doesn't sound like a man who has had a crystal clear reassurance from the ownership. All right? It sounds like someone inferring his position from ongoing conversations and normal operational behaviour. I can say from my experience over the years, I've been here 30 years nearly. Can you believe it? I was in my early 20s when I started Cop Talk. I'm 51 now. From my experience, I am aware, I know of situations where managers at Liverpool thought that they were planning for the new season or thought they were going to be the manager, but people above had already made the decision to release them or fire them or whatever. And some of you will know, and if you're new to my channel, I knew Rafa Benitez was getting sacked before Rafa Benitez because the email was sent to me in the early hours of the night before he was sacked. And that email was sent by Christian Purslow, right, who I believe his title at the time was Managing Director of Liverpool Football Club. Previously, I think Chief Executive was the tag for Rick Parry, for example. But Purslow was Managing Director. And Christian Purslow sent that email to a friend of mine that was connected to Liverpool Football Club in various ways. And the reason that the email went to him was Christian Purslow put a typing, when you type an email and it auto suggests the name, right? Well, my friend, he sent it to my friend because he had the same Christian name, first name, as who it was intended for. And Purslow, middle of the night, I guess, maybe a lot going on, didn't check the surname. And this email was sent to my friend that basically said, we're sacking Rafa tomorrow. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to brief it, yada, yada, yada. My friend, who knew Christian Purslow, replied and said, don't think this was meant for me, and it was just like, oh yeah, ups a daisy, don't say anything. But there was a lot of drama at the club at the time, because you might think, well, your friend shit if he shared it with you. But there was a massive problem at the time, because my friend was trying to buy Liverpool Football Club, and it was a well, documented public thing. If you were to look back around there, you'd know who it was. I'd rather you didn't speculate in the comment section, those of you who know who it was. And there was obviously all the stuff that was going on at the club at the time, Tom Hicks and George Gillette, and protests, and was it the Royal Bank of Scotland, and all these different things and campaigns. So my friend at the time was very passionate, and very angry, and it felt like certain people at the club were not helping the situation. So he forwarded the email to me, because we wanted change. We wanted the situation to be fixed at Anfield, during that period. The point I'm trying to make here is Rafa Benitez is tucked up in bed. In the morning, if there'd been a press conference about him, he would have continued, wouldn't he, saying we're doing as usual, carrying on as usual. But the reality was that the executives of the club had already made the decision, right? Not just a few hours before. That was when the email was sent out to someone to say, hey, we're sacking Rafa tomorrow. This is how we're going to deal with it. Which means, prior to then, there will have been meetings and discussions between the executives as to we're going to terminate, Rafa. So again, things happen within clubs where people are going to be released or fired or whatever however you want to call it, and they don't necessarily know that. Do you know what I mean, guys? So I think if Arne Slot had come out and said, "I will be here next year," we've spoken the the management, the owners, there's nothing coming out of Anfield. They're not really helping him, really, are they? Because obviously the club has a press officer, and the owners. If I was Arne Slot, right, right, I want to give you an example. So I work for a football club, and there's been times when I've needed the owner to do something for me, right? And what I mean by that is maybe just to remind someone of my position and importance to the club, right? That's not me bigging myself. I'm all important, but it's true, right? So there are certain things that if someone's not listening to me, they need reminding of what my job is at the club, right? So maybe it's not good coming from me. So if I feel that I'm not being supported, I would go to the owner. I don't mean the owner's not supporting me. So I have done this before, and I've gone to the owner and said, look, I need you just to, step in here, just point out something, help me with this issue. And every single time, if I go to the owner and say, I need you to do this, he'll do it, all right? So even at a meeting today, the meeting we had this morning, we spoke about this, right? Not specifically about me, somebody else within the club. And I said, I think they need, people need reminding of their position. They're an important person, and people are not responding to that person as they should. In other words, we need, a memo or an instruction or a directive from the owner of the club saying, hey, this person is responsible for this, this, and this. You listen to them, right? And if you're not going to listen to them, right? So I have gone to the club previously and said, I just need you to say something here to help me with my position, what I'm doing for you, right? Why am I telling you this? Because Liverpool Football Club has a press officer, right? And Arne Slot knows before he goes into a press conference what's going to come up. Not because the press necessarily, advance the questions, but the press officer, if you've got any intelligence, right, is going to go, well, you know what they're going to ask you today, right? So if you're the press officer, or even Arne Slot yourself, and you knew that there was this ongoing issue of the speculation concerning the manager, what would you do? If I was Arne Slot's press officer, right, I would be going to the owner's FSG, and I would be saying, right, the boss is getting some problems here, right? We need something from you that shows security and stability, right? That's not John Henry popping up in front of the cameras, but I need him to be able to say, I can guarantee you I'll be in next year. This is the plan. I've spoke to the owners. We're all on the same page. We need him to be able to say something like this. The press officer can do that, right? But that's not happening, is it? And if I was Arne Slot himself being subjected to this and maybe not having, complete certainties, it would be getting on my nerves, right? So I would be saying to the ownership, hi, all right, how's it doing? Donkey, listen, them fuckers are going to be on my case again today. Is it all right if I say we're all on the same page? Is that okay? But do you see any of that coming out? Do you see that support coming Arne Slot's way? No, we're just getting a lot of, mixed messaging from journalists and whatnot. So these are the things that I look for, all right? From my experience is where is that message of I've spoken to, the owners and we're planning for next season. He hasn't said that. And how easy if you're the owner of that club, think about it. If I was the owner of the club and this guy, I'm steadfast behind him with his support, and I can see what he's been subjected to at every press conference, I'd be on the phone to the press office and I'd be saying, listen, I need you to get Arne today to say that, he's spoken with the ownership and we're all on the same page. All right, can you make sure that message is conveyed? That's what the press officer is for. But do you see that? I don't see that. And I also don't see his contract extension, right? So these are just little things in the background that keep the door open for me on his future, even though the reporting sounds like he's going to stay. And I'm going to stress it again. He might stay. I have no idea. But I'm throwing you these little bits at you to say, that's, it makes you just think a little bit, right? Intentions, the current plan. My feeling is, and what was it? What did he say? I have every reason to believe. I have every reason to believe is not categorically I'm here. Would you agree with me? And maybe he will be. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So I'm going to leave it with you there. I'm going to leave you there. Oh, okay. I don't know what that is. I think that's someone in Valencia. I think it's the club sending me some stuff. Right. I've got to go. My hotel is still not resolved. So I think this. Sorry, I'll tell you about the hotel in a minute. If you want to support my video, sorry, I'll rephrase that. Right, here comes the grift. If you enjoyed this video, if it made you think a little bit, please thumbs up the video. If you didn't like the video, by all means, thumbs it down. You're allowed to do that. You can drop me a comment. I appreciate your comments. What do you think about his comments? Are you just like, nah, he's absolutely staying? Maybe he is. I don't know. But we need to keep an eye on every single word and how it's said. I'll be honest with you, I read Paul Joyce's article and I thought it does sound like he's staying, but I'm just not convinced. What else was I going to say to you? Yeah, so drop me a comment. There's a love out under the video if you want to support my channel. Massive help to people that do that. Also my channel members, of course. 3 links in the video description, alternative methods of supporting me. The Revolut link is my beer kitty, my fuck it fund as I call it, for a weekend. All right, guys? Okay, so my hotel. So my team, my club, as Rafa Benitez would say, club, we've got an away leg. We've got a semi-final playoff this weekend, Saturday. And the first leg is away. And I booked a hotel. I thought, me and Laura will stay up there for the night, because we have not seen each other for ages. We've been so busy with work, right? And she was like, it would be nice if we could spend a bit of time together, And I thought, yeah, I could do with getting my leg. Anyway, so the league said the game would be on the 17th, is it? 17th Sunday? So I booked the hotel. And as anybody else, your plans are not going to change, don't you? Yeah, because I've got the date. They've said when the game is going to be played. And so I did it on that, the cancel, where you can't cancel. Because you get it 20, 30 quid cheaper. So I'm going out now, obviously. I'm not going to cancel. Then the game got moved to the Saturday. So I spoke to the hotel. Someone called Joanna. And I said, it was a mistake on the thing. Could you just change it to Saturday? No, I can't do it. You can book in Saturday, though, but the problem is you have to book in 2 nights. I said, but I've already got 1 fucking night. I know. Anyway, cut a long story short. They won't move. They won't give me my money back. They can give me my money back if they want to. They won't move it to the Saturday. And that's where I am at the moment. So this is what's going to happen on Saturday, right? Laura doesn't know this yet, but we're going to have to go to the football, the away game on the Saturday, and then we're going to have to come home after it. And then on Sunday, go back to the same area where the game was played for a night there on Sunday, even though we're not there. I mean, in some ways, it's still nice. You're getting a night away, but can you imagine how frustrating that is for me? Going up there on a Saturday. It would have been nice after the game. Let's go and have a beer now, a glass of wine. Let's chill a little bit, whatever. So I said to her, we'll book some on Saturday, But then Saturday, we'd have to check out on Sunday and then go and check in another hotel. It's just fucking ball ache, innit? And there, like throwing money around like that 2 nights. I'm sorry, Laura. I think we're going to have to come here. And it's not, listen, guys, if someone said to me, I'll pay for you, it's not that. It ain't that. It's just the ball ache of it all. Do you know what I mean? It's the ball ache of it all. I'm really fed up with it, to be honest, because I was only doing it for her. So the way I'm trying to look at it around how I'm going to sell it to her is we'll go to the football, we'll come back, we'll go for a beer in town on Saturday, and Sunday, why don't we just drive back up? It's a nice little place. Gandia is the place where we would stay. And we'll just have that room, and just have a chill. If the football hadn't been on, we'd have done that and nobody would have questioned it. I think it's just the fact that it's a balls up, really. And the hotel won't accommodate us, which I think is pretty shit. They haven't even said, well, rebook in 2 weeks' time or something. And they're just shit, really. So it's put a bit of a downer on it. But I'm telling you because I was telling you the story previously yesterday. So I'm going to tell her tonight we're not going. And honestly, guys, even if one of you said, no, I'll pay for your hotel, don't go and get yourself. It's not that. It's just the, imagine going and staying on Saturday night and then 11 o'clock, wherever, Sunday morning, right, let's check out now, let's pack up and now go to another hotel. Anyway, I looked at availability around there and it didn't look like there was much happening, to be honest. So I think we're just going to have to suck it up and accept it, guys. All right. My eyes are exceptionally sore today, very, very sore today. So I went to this meeting this morning and Oh, so many things happening. We're talking about different things for next season, and yeah, running a football club is something. It really is. And we've got to get this team promoted, guys. And we need to get promoted. We're in the playoffs, in the semi-final. If we can get a win or something, it's just, I don't know. It affects a lot of people. But anyway, I won't waffle on anymore. I think I've got some more stuff to talk about. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know you like to hear me waffling and ranting at the end, so there you go. I've got to go to another meeting in about an hour. All right. All right, guys. I'm tired, really, really tired. All right, I'll speak to you in a bit. Thumbs up, comment, you know the drills. Cheers.